Hey guys, how's it going? It's Art again. I'm making this video to show off my 1987 50-watt Plexi build that I built about 2 years ago. I try to use all NOS parts. I also used some XF2 power tubes and some made in Holland 1970 12AX7s on every V spot for the preamp tubes. But the reason why I'm making this video is because I use classic tone power transformer, output transformer, and choke. And although the amp sounds real good, and people that have played this amp say it sounds real good, I want to try a different transformers, if you will, to see what sounds better, and to finish all the hype about era correct transformers and blah blah blah. Anyways, I have a Marstran power transformer here. It's a 139 output transformer, and I've had it like maybe almost a year now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap out the classic tone output transformer and install this one. So anyways, I have the schematic that I drew myself to for the primaries and the secondaries. And so apparently the Marstran output transformer model is the 784-139 output transformer from that era, and I think it started back in 1967. So anyways, just a little bit about this amp. I'm using this capacitor here is actually a Sprague. I believe it's a 220 microfarad with the 820 Zycon carbon composite resistor. These two coupling caps here, these mustard .022 microfarad capacitors, are actually from a 1972 Plexi that I replaced them. He wanted to try those chiclets for some reason, but anyways, they're on this amp, and I can't hear the difference. These are Allen Bradley carbon composite 100K resistors. I used 68K, same brand, Allen Bradley, this spot right here, and 470K Allen Bradleys at the mixers. My bypass capacitor, I believe it's 470 or 560. I can't see that small anymore, but it's a let me double check. It's a 560 picofarad capacitor, and this one is a 220. I have 270, 250, but I'm not gonna swap it out because it sounds good, so I'm not really worried about it. So most of my resistors are Allen Bradley, as you can see here. Here's my mixer resistor, 56K. Here's my two drop resistors here for the preamp section. These are 10K. I believe they're 2-watt resistors. And all these carbon film resistors here at the phase inverter are the Zycon carbon film. These are your bias resistors, your plate resistors. And all these other capacitors are mustard .022 UF right here. Mustard Phillips capacitors. These I bought from a guy in I think he was in Brazil or Chile, I can't remember. But I ended up buying like 500 of them at a real good deal. So these are mini watts, 0.1 UF, and I'm not sure if you could tell here, but down here, let's see if I could turn this camera down. This one here, it's another mini watt like this one, a 1 UF, 0.1 UF microfarad resistor. And other than that, all the wires that I'm using here are 20 gauge wires that I bought from a place in Brea. It's stranded They're not tinned, but it's easy to work with. Excuse me, for me. So I didn't have a problem using it. It's a little stiff, but after you get the hang of it, yeah, you shouldn't have a problem. This is PTFE wire here. This is real hard to work with, so I don't think I'm going to be using that again. But it works great. It has a good reputation. It's very durable and lasts forever, if you will. Same thing here, the same wires. The jacks are Marshall type, made in England type jacks right here. And then my screen resistors, I found in a place in El Cajon by San Diego. I got like 500 of them or 300, somewhere in that, a big bag. The guy gave them to me like for $10. So I took the whole bag, and that's what I'm using here. I had to modify this one a little bit and push it down so I could let these let me see if you can see it better. These fuse holders, I'm not sure the brand of them, but they're like the vintage type that you need a screwdriver. And I installed them a few months ago, and I mean, they look nice. Didn't change the tone obviously, but just kind of like more era, more vintage look to it. This bypass capacitor I installed after looking into the Amp Archive website. I saw a lot of 1987 amplifiers that had this bypass cap, and some guys swear that it changed the tone, but I can't tell the difference. Anyways, it comes from here. It goes to the ground of this screen capacitor here. Anyways, all my capacitors for the filters are they're 32 by 32. So is my phase inverter, the preamp section, the main, and the screens are right here. My bias capacitors are the spray type. I also have a bypass capacitor here on the bright channel. It's 47 picofarad. All my pots are the alpha pots that I get from CE distribution. They're working fine so far. I can't really complain about them. And the same thing with these jacks here. They're the made in England ones. They're just a little bit more than the made in China. This pink colored wire here. It's an actual wire from a Marshall amp that I used. This is the off-brand kind. It's just a little too pink, if you will, but it will do. So, anyways, these power tube sockets are actually vintage type. I can't remember the name. It's just too much to remember right now. But anyways, I'm gonna replace this output transformer, and what I have to do is I have to unsolder this hot part here that controls all the inlet, if you will, for every ohms down here, so the jack could have the same impedance as the speakers. So I have to unsolder this one first, then I'll remove this switch here and unsolder it from the back. My power switch here, selector, it's not hooked up because the classic tone power transformer didn't come equipped to be wired for 120, 220, and 240. But it's almost like a universal type where if I want to use a tube rectifier, I can, using these 5-volt taps there. And you had to wire a certain way, a combination, so you could wire the correct voltage, I guess. Which was actually disappointing. I didn't know because I ordered it without reading the specs on it. But if I had to use it over again, or if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't use that power transformer. I mean, I can't see nothing bad about it so far because it's been working fine. It hasn't burned anything. I haven't popped any fuses. But as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and remove the output transformer and do the audio check on the output transformer regarding the, in comparison with the classic tone output transformer, which again sounds real good, but I'm not impressed. So I'm gonna change that and use the Marstran output transformer and see if it really lives up to the name, if you will. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it, and I'm gonna start it back when I have it off, and when I have the new one installed, I'm gonna have it to where the wires are not connected, and I'll show you what I did. I might have to remove the board. I don't want to, but I have to because there's a screw down here, a screw, and a nut that I need to remove that are down here. Well, actually, that's right here. It's right underneath here somewhere. So I would have to remove this. I'm gonna see if I could just pop it up, but if not, I'm gonna have to remove all these pots here and just potentiometers and move it forward. And I don't want to do all that because it sounds real good. So I might have to do that. So anyways, this is part 1, and I'm gonna go ahead and see if I could make part 2 today. It's kind of late, but I'll make part 2 again with the output transformer off and the new one installed without being wired, and kind of go over the wiring, the primary and the secondaries, and where they go. So maybe it could help someone later on to build their own 50-watt Plexi. By the way, I have hundreds of these capacitors right here if you guys want to buy some, and I have hundreds of these here too. I have a whole bunch of Allen Bradley resistors if you guys need some. I have hundreds of these too, these bypass capacitors, which are very unique looking and actually rare because you can't find them anywhere else for sure. So anyways, I guess stay tuned. Sorry about that, all that moving. Stay tuned for part 2.